AI, Work and Human Identity, Understanding the Emotional Impact of Artificial Intelligence. Episode 5 of 20, How to Handle Feeling Replaceable. You're listening to the Emotional Intelligence Developer Podcast. This is Episode 5, How to Handle Feeling Replaceable. There's a particular feeling that can come with artificial intelligence that isn't always easy to explain. It's not simply fear of losing your job. It's the feeling that someone or something could do what you do without needing you. And that can hurt. Because when you've spent years developing a skill, gaining experience, and becoming good at something, it's easy to connect that ability with your sense of value. You know what you're doing. People come to you for answers. You know how to solve problems. You have experience that took years to build. Then technology arrives, and suddenly you see a machine doing part of that work in seconds. And you start wondering, if a machine can do this, what am I bringing to the table? That's a much deeper question than whether AI can perform a particular task. It's a question about human value. And this is where you need to be careful. Because there is a difference between being replaceable in a particular task and being replaceable as a person. Those aren't the same thing. A machine might perform a task faster than you. Software might calculate something more accurately. AI might generate a first draft in seconds. Automation might remove an entire process from your job. But none of that automatically tells you what you're worth. It tells you something about the task, not the human being. That's an important distinction. Because if you interpret technological change as evidence that you're personally becoming worthless, you're giving technology far more power over your identity than it deserves. And that can create a dangerous emotional cycle. You feel replaceable. So your confidence drops. Because your confidence drops, you avoid challenges. Because you avoid challenges, you stop developing. Then you fall further behind. And falling behind seems to confirm the original fear. See? I'm becoming irrelevant. But the problem wasn't necessarily your ability. The problem was the story you started telling yourself. So let's change the question. Instead of asking, can AI replace what I do? Ask, what can I do that becomes more valuable when I know how to work with AI? That is a much more productive question. Maybe AI can produce information. Can you determine which information actually matters? Maybe AI can generate a response. Can you understand the person receiving it? Maybe AI can analyze data. Can you make a responsible decision based on what that data means? Maybe AI can automate a process. Can you redesign the process? Maybe AI can produce something quickly. Can you recognize whether what it produced is actually good? Those differences matter. Technology can change the way a task is performed without eliminating the need for judgment. And judgment is not just about intelligence. It's about context, experience, values, communication, responsibility, and understanding consequences. That's why emotional intelligence belongs in this conversation. Because the more technology changes the technical side of work, the more important it becomes to understand the human side of work. Can you communicate clearly? Can you handle conflict? Can you understand what another person is feeling? Can you build trust? Can you manage your own emotions under pressure? Can you make decisions when there isn't a perfect answer? Can you adapt without becoming defensive? These aren't abstract personality traits. They affect whether people want to work with you, whether they trust you, whether they listen to you, whether they believe your judgment, and whether you can operate effectively when circumstances change. But there's another uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the fear of being replaced comes from something that existed long before AI. You may have been measuring your worth through productivity. If being useful is how you prove to yourself that you matter, then any technology that makes you less necessary can feel like a personal threat. That deserves attention. Because your value shouldn't depend entirely on how much work you can produce. You don't become less valuable because someone else becomes more efficient. You don't become less intelligent because a machine can calculate faster. You don't become less creative because technology can generate images or text. And you don't become less human because technology can imitate certain things humans do. Your value isn't a competition against a machine. The goal isn't to prove that you're better than AI at everything. You won't be. The goal is to understand where human judgment, responsibility, relationships, and emotional intelligence create value, and then develop those capabilities deliberately. So, if you're feeling replaceable right now, don't ignore the feeling. But don't automatically believe it either. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of losing? Your job? Your income? Your status? Your confidence? Your identity? Or your belief that you're good at something? Once you identify the real fear, you can actually work with it. Maybe you need new skills. Maybe you need to become more comfortable using AI. Maybe you need to strengthen your communication. Maybe you need to build confidence. Maybe you need to stop measuring your entire worth through your career. And maybe you need all of those things. That's where self-awareness becomes useful. The Emotional Intelligence Developer website has free well-being tools, quizzes, and resources that can help you examine your confidence, self-awareness, emotional patterns, and overall well-being. Use them as part of your development. Because feeling replaceable isn't something you solve by repeatedly telling yourself that you're special. You solve it by understanding your value more realistically. Your skills can change. Your job can change. The technology can change. Your industry can change. But your ability to learn, adapt, understand people, and make thoughtful decisions can continue developing. So don't ask yourself whether you'll remain exactly as valuable in the future as you are today. Ask a better question. What kind of person do I want to become as the world changes? That question puts you back in the driver's seat. This has been episode 5 of 20 in AI, Work and Human Identity, Understanding the Emotional Impact of Artificial Intelligence from the Emotional Intelligence Developer podcast. Continue with the series as we explore the psychological impact of AI on work, confidence, identity, and human development. And remember, a technology becoming more capable doesn't make you less valuable. It means you need to understand where your value actually comes from.